What's going on, guys? Mackenzie Long here. One thing that I've noticed about people is that they've got to be pretty pissed off about something to actually make some changes in their life. So the question for you is, are you actually pissed off about where you're at, or are you just going to let another year slide? I know this probably isn't you, but have you noticed how people will just complain about stuff, and it seems like they complain about the same thing over and over and over again? It almost seems like for years or decades they keep complaining about the same thing, how they're unhappy with their weight, how they're unhappy with their marriage, how they're unhappy with their financial status, but yet they really don't do anything about it. They would rather just complain about it. I think it's because we have to come to a point in our life where we're actually so pissed off about something that we're willing to make a change. And I know that's true for me because that's exactly how I make myself change, is that I will be so irritated with myself about something that I'm not doing or something that I want to change about myself that I will actually push myself even harder to be pissed off at myself that I will make that change. So if you can learn how to harness that for yourself, I think it's very powerful. And the reason why I learned this is I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and thousands of people on their financial literacy, and it seems to be true and unanimous across the board, regardless of what race you are, what part of the country or world you were born in. This seems to be true for almost everybody. And I think one of the biggest challenges is that life in the US especially is pretty dang good, in that you can work at a mediocre job making $34,000 a year and be at the top 1% of lifestyle compared to the rest of the world. That's pretty dang good. There's not a day that you probably go without running water. There's not a day that you go without electricity. So life is pretty good, even at the bottom or towards the bottom of society in America. And I think that that's why people don't necessarily strive, because in a lot of other places, it's either you die or you change. But here you can kind of just live a crappy life, no offense, but if you don't like it, then it's probably considered crappy, and complain about things, but still have it pretty good compared to the rest of the world. And I know this to be true because almost everybody that I talk to wants to do better with money. Almost everybody that I talk to wants to be an entrepreneur, have more control over their lifestyle, yet almost nobody makes effort to actually change those things in their life. And I think this is why we have so much stress in our life, because we know that those things are possible. Imagine living in a country where none of those things were possible. That would be so much easier, because you would literally just go about your day doing whatever it is that you do and not realizing that there's more out there for you. You would be perfectly fine with that. It's almost the thought process of ignorance is bliss. But unfortunately, if you have social media and you're on YouTube, or if you're on any form of social media, you understand what people are capable of and the things that they can accomplish. And I think what creates a lot of that stress or that anxiety is that we don't necessarily believe that it's possible for us, but yet we want it. And with my experience of thousands of people, it's very interesting that so many people will start things, but very few will actually see it to the end. And all of those people who do finish, everybody else is envious of them for finishing and wish that they had finished, yet most people won't actually take the time and put in the effort to finish. And one of the things that's helped me, if you're feeling kind of this way, is that I remind myself how irritated I am about something. So for instance, I didn't work out for a couple months. Now I generally work out. Marlene and I are very good at that most times. However, we were moving, we had a bunch of things going on in the business. We were just recently married. We went on vacation or our honeymoon for a month. So our cycles kind of got messed up. And so one of the things that I had to do when I got back while I was not working out was I would look at myself in the mirror every day and just build up a little bit more of me being pissed off on why I looked the way that I looked, how I wanted to look, and how I actually looked. And I use that as fuel to make me do the things that I don't want to do. And I think that sometimes people try to hide those things from themselves. they will not look at the mirror and not analyze where they're at with their health or financially so that they can get through another day without feeling pissed off. But there's a fine balance between using this thing of being pissed off. Now, when I was single, it was easy. I could just be pissed off all the time. It was not a big deal because I didn't have to live with somebody. And now obviously nobody wants to be around somebody that's pissed off, but I was striving for more and I was irritated that I wasn't there yet. But what is interesting is if you want to be in a good relationship, you've got to learn how to balance those things. How do I be pissed off in one area and strive to do better, but then I can also come home and just sit there and be with my spouse or go on a date night and not be thinking about anything else and be present with them, be present with your kids in the same day. And that is not an easy task to do, but it is doable. And I think both of them take practice. And how do I build up this resentment, and not a resentment in a way that I hate myself, because I know for a fact I can accomplish just about anything. Now, I'm not a David Goggins by any means, but I know that if I put my mind to it, I could do those things. The question is, what do I actually want, and how pissed off can I get about not being there yet that I'm willing to put in the time and effort to actually get there? And this is an interesting thing to be able to learn in our life. And I think all the people who are great at something, who are obsessed with being good at some aspect of their life, have figured these things out. If they're also able to keep their marriages for a long time, if their kids still care about them at the end of it. And I think all of those things are important in that we shouldn't just necessarily be striving for one of those things, to just have a great business and tons of money and no relationships in our life. That's not necessarily a good life. It's not necessarily what I'm looking to do. And also, I wouldn't want to lose my faith or my health in the process. So how do we build all of these things simultaneously? And I think it happens just by getting a little bit better at one thing at a time. And almost every time that I've tried something new and failed, I've picked up one good skill that has helped me out in future things. Like the 75 hard, I tried that and I completed that the first time. And one of the things that stuck with me was drinking a gallon of water. So now that's one less thing that I have to think about on a daily basis because that has become automized. Now, the next thing is maybe waking up on time or reading the things that you need. And one of the most important things is figuring out where you're at and the next piece of the puzzle that you need so you can work on that. And the reason why I bring this up, and I think it's so important, because I've created 2 courses. One of them's been out for almost a year now and I've had fantastic reviews on it. It's called How Money Works. It is a course to help you with your finances and your financial literacy, and I think it's a fantastic course. But I recently created one called E2E, and it's employee to entrepreneur. How to go from this place of being an employee and being told what to do every day into how do I become an entrepreneur and take control over my life. Because we go from a position of being told what to do every day to now we have to figure out what to do so we can tell ourselves how and what to do. And how do we stay on ourselves? How do we get irritated with ourselves enough to move in a particular direction? So first, we need to know where we're going. And second is we need to know what's the next tool or skill that we need to get closer to that goal. And that's really what this course is designed around, and I highly recommend you checking it out. It's on Teachable down below. We have it at no cost for right now. Just use that coupon code 995OFF, and we're going to be selecting 10 people to actually help them get their business up off the ground, really as the launch of this course. And we're going to be taking a lot of that content and sharing it with everybody else that's in it to help them through that experience as well. So I highly recommend you checking that out. And as always, don't forget to smash the like button and also hit the subscribe as well. We've got tons of great content coming out, podcasts with business owners and people who are financially successful, so you can hear the mindset that they have and how they've built what they have and how they've gotten to the point where they are, so you can pick up those little nuggets and figure out what that next piece or two is in front of you that you need to work on. And those are going to be tremendously helpful for you. So don't forget to also hit the little bell so that when these new videos are coming out, you get notified of them as well. And as always, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later. Bye.